Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John. Trigun, Badlands Rumble. Release date in Japan, April 24th, 2010. Toonami got this December 28th, 2013, as a midnight showing as part of their month of movies. Alex, this was your choice.
It was so I love Trigun. Trigun is one of my favorite series. I love everything about it. I love Stampede. I love Trigun Maximum. Um, my my late partner and I love Trigun. I even have a Trigun tattoo of Wolfwood and Vash. So I wanted to rewatch this movie. It had been a long time since I had watched it, and it I think that of the movies we've watched, this one holds up so much when it comes to the anime movies. It holds up for me a lot. So I'm so excited to talk about it with everyone.
This is one of the first we've had for a while that actually functions as a standalone feature as well. Like, if you don't know Trigun, this is just a fine job of setting up who everyone is.
Yes, this was something. So I love Trigun, like the OG series myself. I might kind of been like contemplating diving into that next at some point or sometime down the line. I hadn't actually seen Badlands Rumble for whatever reason. I always knew it existed, but I hadn't seen it before this. Um,
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's like my thing is not to get too bogged down into continuity, but that's what we sometimes do. Um, is this functionally just like because I'm trying to think if they're acting like they've ever met like Wolfwood before, or if it's just like, oh no, it's just this dude with another Trigun.
He does say that, yeah, because they say it's you again.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, this film is one of those films that it's not technically canon, but also it can be canon. There's none of these events are ever mentioned again, but they don't contradict anything we see. And the show establishes that Vash goes and does stuff. So
Yeah. You can kind of slot it in. There is some time in the OG series where Wolfwood and Vash have kind of gone off and done their own thing, and you don't really know what they were doing during that time, and this could have easily been part of that. So,
It's one of those things also like the dynamic between Vash and Nicholas P are a little I don't remember there being this much friction between the two because they're not really buddy buddy for a lot of the movie. They're just kind of like not, you know.
I think so. I have a lot of thoughts around this, and a lot of them are very Dostoevsky. So you're gonna have to like give me some thought around it. Is so I don't know if either of you are familiar with Dostoevsky's The Idiot as a novel.
no.
Hmm.
Um, for those of you in the audience who are not, Dostoevsky's The Idiot came way before Brothers Karamazov. It came before Crime and Punishment, and essentially it is a deconstruction of the Christ figure, where it's like if you are this good person, can you survive in the world as it exists? And there's a character within The Idiot who kind of functions in a similar way to Wolfwood, where it's not necessarily temptation, but it's conversation around whether or not your ideals mean anything at the end of the day when you are dead. Um, and I think that this movie does make their relationship a little bit rougher. It is very early on. I think it like early on in the series their relationship is a little bit rougher when Wolfwood is still, doing the whole I might assassinate you thing. But yeah, I think that this movie is kind of what makes the movie so watchable, despite if even if you don't know anything, is that energy of there is that dichotomy in their relationship, despite the fact that Wolfwood is going to clean up the mess at the end.
He gets the coolest scenes, I think.
Oh God,
He does. He's just cool. He also gets one of the funniest lines thrown at him. I love Vash's. Have you changed your religion to robbery now? Because Vash has it with just like genuine interest, as if that is actually an option.
Which, knowing what we know about the 60 million double dollar man, 60 billion
billion double dollar man.
double dollar man would track.
Yeah. I think a big thing why this film works so nicely is that Alicia's story is just so nicely self-contained. Because Vash isn't really the main character in this. He's the character we follow, but he's not the main thrust. I think, yeah, she's just a really nice character to pin quite a simple but just very well done story on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What in revisiting this is Vash kind of a pastiche of Goku and Spike Spiegel?
I would say no. Um, I would think that like Wolfwood kind of falls more into the Spike category than Vash does, and I
Like
think
down to
that
the tobacco habit?
yeah, definitely down to the tobacco habit and being a child soldier. Um, but I think with that, what separates Vash from characters like Goku, who have that like you know, I don't want to say anti-violence because Goku is all in on doing this. Goku took a lot of lives in Dragon Ball, but Vash's Vash's long march to the last run of his character is so much more melancholy. Vash pretends to be an idiot. Goku is an idiot. Like, and I think that that's what makes Vash's character, especially in the because what they do with him in Stampede, I have a whole treatise about the representations of gender in Trigun Stampede and how the feminization of Vash is actually like really important for the story. But in this particular case, this Vash is fully aware of everything that's going on around him. He pretends more than anything else to be a womanizing idiot. And that's shown very much in the show proper, but I think they do a good job of showing it here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love like the best thing of that is a scene with the bullets where he steals everyone's bullets from their guns. It's you think it's such a funny gag, but it's also like, oh, he's very you can't pull that off being an idiot. Like he clearly knows what he's doing, and it heavily implies he could have just knocked these guys out if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I read ages ago that basically Vash is Charlie Chaplin of Shonen, in that he is this kind of he's inherently good-hearted, but things always go wrong for him, and he's kind of forced to deal with chaos, even when he has good intentions, and that's always kind of stuck with me.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Spike having Vicious, he kind of has knives, even though it's ultimately Legato that forces that arc in the main series. In this, one of the more interesting scenes I find is where he uses his reputation as the humanoid typhoon to try to stir up an entire bar. And at first, everyone just kind of like laughs him off before they erupt into the inevitable and always entertaining bar brawl, you know? But it's like it's a far cry because there's a lot of Trigun where he's trying to like kind of like be like, I'm not, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. And so for him to be like, hey, humanoid typhoon here, everybody back up.
I
Like,
love Meryl during all that too, just having a slow motion panic attack the entire time. Like, oh God, why are you doing this to me right now?
Also, that scene has Millie with her. Is it just me, or did a fight break out? Oh,
I love Millie.
I to go back to that gender. It's Millie is a great character. I love her voice form, and two, it's also cool to see a woman who is tall and built, and it's not used as a gag. It's not even commented on. She's just tall and big.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
the closest you get in this film is someone reacting in shock when she pulls her gun up, which is just a perfect acceptable Western trope. Like, I have the bigger gun.
yeah. And I mean, it's Millie. Everything's going to be,
Yeah.
lovely.
Bigger
Yeah,
woman gets bigger gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because
Um,
in most shows of the Trigun era, that would be a recurring gag that she looks mannish. When it's like, no, cool. She's just Millie. She's tall. She's awesome. She will shoot you.
We
I
love Millie. And
we're
Millie's
a
adorable.
Pro Millie household, pro Meryl household, pro Wolfwood and Vash household too. But
I do
Just not
want
in
to
the
talk
same room.
just
yeah.
not in the same room. I do just want to say, like, one thing I always loved about Trigun is that its female characters are characters. Like they have Meryl and Millie have personalities. They are different people. They're the insurance girls from the Bernatelli Insurance Company, and there's a lot of depth to them in a way that like a lot of anime just doesn't give female characters when it's targeted at men. So I just want to give a big shout out to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, it's really well done. They have a lot of good scenes in this movie. They do a good job of pushing the plot along.
For as often as we see the reactor, just this giant ass light bulb in the middle of the wasteland in the show, is this the first time that we see the reactor like become a major plot point? Like it careen down the town and cause havoc.
Oh my
Might
gosh.
be. I think it actually might.
I
I
think
don't
it might
remember
be
like Legato using it. I don't remember Knives using it. I don't remember
because
it.
that's where the plants are. So I don't remember it. It became a much bigger thing in Stampede, but not so much in the original.
I partially wonder if it's because we have more CG in this film, so we can actually animate balls rolling.
Yeah.
Which actually really, I was talking to John about this before we got started. One of the fun things is Studio Orange did a lot of the CG here, and Studio Orange is who ended up making Trigun Stampede later on. So that's actually quite a fun little narrative thoroughfare. The animation's great. Like the animation's fantastic. The action scenes are so good.
I love how this film looks. For me, this is like the ultimate period of anime where CG is good enough to pull things off, but it's still slightly too expensive, so you have to ration it. So everything still kind of uses a lot of the sort of the 2D stuff from sort of the 80s and 90s is still there in high definition, but we have the space to do it. But it's not like, now CG is cheap, we can do untextured models and just stuff them in a scene. Like, it's such a nice best of both worlds moment.
Yeah. This is a pre-Tiger and Bunny world.
I love
um,
Tiger and Bunny.
Tiger and Bunny's great.
No, even though it's no, I know exactly what you're talking about with that CGI.
Where it's all cell shaded all the time, sure, fine. But um I really also revisiting this because I just watched it on Hulu. Um Hearing all our favorite Funimation friends voice like, oh, that's Kent. That's Kent Williams. That's oh,
Yeah.
look, is that Chuck Huber? Sure is.
All the lads are here.
Yeah. I don't remember
Everyone's
a
back.
Sabat moment. I don't remember a Chris Sabat, but yeah.
I don't think Sabat really did a lot in Trigun. I think he had like one or two. Jerry Jewell did a lot of like side voices in the original Trigun run. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
what do you think of our kind of antagonists for this film?
I love how hench Goldback is. Dude is just doing. He's not done leg day for 50 years, but the top half. Uh,
What's the dog meme where it's like the jacked?
The Jack Shiba Inu. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Coming to get you.
Get you.
He's. I love actually to look back. I love in this film how the amount of detail there is. If you like watch the city scenes, every single bounty hunter has a different appearance,
Yep.
getting increasingly more wild. And yeah, I think the gang here were that as well. Each member has this very distinct look, different outfits. It's more detail than they need to put in, but it just really helps make this gang feel much more interesting.
Yeah.
That's the thing that like one of the things that I appreciate about Trigun as a series is how kind of wild the character designs have always been. Like in the original series, you had like that family where you had the one giant guy and the one little guy, and then you had like all the gung ho guns look different, and all the Legato's weird freaking Final Fantasy villain outfit in all of this, and then, of course, you have Vash in his very 90s look with the long red trench coat and the shiny sunglasses, which were very in vogue at the time. Looking at you, Alucard. But
Well, it's Alucard from Hellsing, but it's also what's the dude? Who's the dude in Final Fantasy X that has the similar?
Auron.
Oh, right.
Auron.
Every time I played Final Fantasy X, I'm like, mm-mm-mm.
This guy right here.
He runs a great host club.
I do, speaking of character designs, I do want to talk just a little bit about Wolfwood, just a tiny bit, because in the original series, he at least had like a shirt buttoned a little higher. This, he's letting the girls out like a lot in this movie, and I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's the desert. You've got to keep cool.
Yeah, he's carrying a gigantic.
Same. He's a priest.
Yeah, he's a priest, and he's also carrying a large machine gun rocket launcher, supposed like armory cross.
Hey, hey, 2 out of 3 of us live in America. Guns are fine, but boobs? No.
Guns and crosses are perfectly acceptable.
Yeah,
By the both at war. Actually, I don't recommend taping one to the other. That may get you kicked out.
no. But yeah, I mean Wolfwood, yeah, is so cool, and nobody can rock a, constantly crinkled cigarette. I don't think Wolfwood can smoke a straight cigarette. I think it always has to look like it's been sat on during the, entire length of a Peter Jackson King Kong or something.
I I have cosplayed Wolfwood in the past. Wolfwood is my favorite Trigun character, and I do love everything they gave him to do in this movie. I like how they got him involved in the plot. I do appreciate that Trigun and a couple of the anime movies we've watched so far have done what Dragon Ball movies just can't, which is getting the characters involved in a natural way. Piccolo, how did you show up on New Planet Vegeta? I was here, I guess. Like
Package tour.
But Wolfwood has a reason to be here. The girls have a reason to be here. The contrivances to get everyone in one spot makes sense in the context, and I appreciate the work that goes into that because Wolfwood's great. You couldn't have had the movie without him. I'm just glad he's here naturally.
I think that's one of the good things of Gasback and his gang is just a setup. It's a very natural setup for a Trigun episode. It's not like again to bring up Dragon Ball. It's not like what's the one where they have the giant monster and the swordsman the Zelda dude.
Oh, the one where it's the kaiju they're fighting?
Legend of the Dragon, isn't it?
Wrath of the Dragon.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like he's not.
Yeah, and then Hirudegarn.
Well, yeah, which is like here's clearly another script we had for something else. We've just changed half the names to Goku and said go.
Yeah.
He feels like a very natural antagonist for Vash. They do a really good job of giving him depth in this film. I like the idea of a robber who is just like he's in it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
And he's holding out the die being cast. It nicely thematically links to sort of Vash's story. They use it to pay off how he works with Vash, just works nicely.
Yeah.
It's a very nice, tight little story.
I think something that I like that Stampede does really well and happens more in the later half of Trigun and happens all the time maximum that they do here is they make Vash feel in those moments, those quiet ones, they make Vash feel as old as he is. Like Vash is old. He's like, for this world in particular, he's ancient compared to what the actual civilization is here. And the show does such a good job. The movie does such a good job at like giving you the opportunity to feel that. Especially you start off with the plot 20 years before the real story hits, and Vash is still the same. And it's tragic. Everything about Vash is so damn tragic, and he is my Blorbo, and I love him.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that like Wolfwood has to explain to him that he saved the girl's life, which led to this entire adventure. And for Vash, who, has literally seen this entire colony or whatever on this planet grow since his spaceship crashed on it, that's got to be wild, right? It's like, oh yeah, like you guys crossed paths before. Like you were the most important person in her life. And he's like, oh, okay. What is that? What is humanity? What is a single human life to Vash, at least in terms of its lifespan?
And that's like the start.
Yeah, and sort of building on that, this film I quite admire. It isn't afraid to have the quieter moments. Like Alicia's story, there are in the end when you see the bits with her and her mother when she's sort of realizing that Vash was trying to stop me hitting the generator. The bit with the kid on his ventilator, they have quite quiet moments. It doesn't feel like it's ashamed of them or doing them just because it feels like it has to. They're very well like the problem with a lot of anime films that try to sort of do emotional plot beats is they feel like kind of melodrama of like here's the sad moment because you've got to have a sad moment so the hero can come back. You've got to cry and clap for Tinkerbell, everybody. But these felt just really natural and really earned. Like again I think Alicia is characterized really well, so you don't learn much about her, but she kind of radiates that abandoned kid energy in a way that I think makes you can kind of pick up on it before she announces it. It's like, oh, yeah, I know someone like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Trigun lends itself very well to this sort of thing because there is a deep philosophy behind this because Vash's embrace of non-violence and not killing because that comes from Rem. Like, does it make sense in a world like Gunsmoke? And that is so integral to understanding the story is that Vash's character is an absurdity because of that sort of thing. And when you put him up against characters who have a much more finite lifespan than he seems to have, that makes it even more interesting. Vash can afford to be nonviolent in a way that characters like Wolfwood and Alicia just don't have the option to. And I love that this movie gives us the quiet moments to feel that, because Alicia and Wolfwood have that great conversation about those ideals and how when you're dead it doesn't mean anything. And Wolfwood is clearly in mourning when he puts on Vash's glasses. Like, wow, way to be normal about it, guy. But it it's but yeah, it's Trigun is just such the right franchise where you can have these big, massive, awesome gunfights and then take a minute to talk about the realities of pacifism in a world that is outwardly hostile.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And I always kind of, and speaking of characters that remind me of Vash, Kenshin is another one of those figures with the dull blade. We're always using the dull side of the blade when he fights. But yeah, no, the difference is Vash isn't like the rest of humanity, because him and Knives are it. They're these weird test tube baby children that grew up on a spaceship. One for good and one to support humanity and one to manipulate it quietly from the shadows. It's yeah. We don't get any it's interesting because we don't get any nods to Knives or Legato or anything. This is a perfectly, like you guys were saying, self-contained slice of Trigun. Um that in a way that a lot of other anime movies, like Full Metal being the impromptu coda to the original series and everything, just kind of aren't.
It's a nice experience because of that. I'm quite glad this was just a really fun little dalliance. The release of this film is actually really interesting to me, by the way. So this was one of the Japan's top grossing films in 2010. Made 72 million yen.
That's a lot of yen.
Yeah, however, it only made $870,000 in America because it debuted at SakuraCon. It was shown as part of the convention for 3 days.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was in the April. Funimation didn't announce they had it until July. Then Funimation did cinema releases, but obviously that flopped because all the people who were really into Trigun had already gone to Sakura, could support SakuraCon ticket and gone to see it there.
Yeah.
Which is,
So
I presume that's why we don't see debuts at SakuraCon anymore.
is SakuraCon still going on?
Yes.
Oh.
I think it may have died during the pandemic. I don't know.
A lot of anime conventions got killed off during the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't keep track of which one is which. Just there's a lot of them.
There are.
John just like, ugh, weebs.
Yeah.
God damn you. Go to a real convention. Like
all to, God damn you all to hell.
Weebs.
You idiots, you did it.
Go to the National Funeral Expo like a normal person.
Yeah, it's not that expensive anymore.
Hey, now they've got dual tiered pricing now for foreigners. So
they do.
Dual tier, but it's spelled this way, so you actually have to Vash duel someone to get through.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want five yen off this sandwich? Draw.
Yeah, I would like the gyudon, please. You're gonna have to fight for it.
The waitress pulls a bazooka out.
Yeah.
Can I just point out this may have been broadcast on the greatest night of Toonami ever.
Oh.
So this was part of the month of movies. It was shown at midnight, but it was paired with a Cowboy Bebop marathon, which was Toonami's favorite episodes. It was voted on by the guys who work there.
Oh.
So you've got this at midnight, followed by Ballad of Fallen Angels, Jupiter Jazz Part 1 and Part 2, Mushroom Samba, Perot Le Fou, Hard Luck Woman, The Real Folk Blues Part 1 and Part 2.
That's a good night. That's a good night at Toonami.
Oh, it is a good night. Yeah, they make a big deal of it being like, this is for, if you haven't seen Bebop before, you're going to want to stay for this because this is our hand chosen selection of Bebop. It's like, yeah, this was a really good night of TV.
That's so cool. Like,
yeah, I needed his toys in the attic, and it would have been perfect.
Gotta save something for the next one.
Yeah.
I do have one last thing to talk about before we go into final thoughts, and I just want to really quick talk about the music in Trigun. Like Trigun, people talk a lot about Trigun, but so few people talk about how good that soundtrack is. It's so like 90s and so inspired, and all the towns sound different. And I love the like Latin flavor of the music they had here. Vash has always had that like kind of clumsy dancer motion to him, and except when he gets serious. And the music is so good. The music is so good, and the movie does such a great job with it.
Yes.
But yeah, no, go for it.
No, it was just yes. Yeah. Agreed.
It is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is time for some final thoughts. So, my friends, let's hear those final thoughts.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a great slice of Trigun I hadn't seen before. All the fights are there, all the music. I mean, if anything, I maybe wish that there was a little more for Meryl and Millie to do because they don't really do too much in this. They get great moments, but they don't. But like John was saying, it's not really their story. It's more Alicia's story. It just happens to feature the Vash the Stampede, the humanoid typhoon and company.
Yeah, this is one of those films that I have in nearly constant rotation. I think it's one of those films you can put on in pretty much any group and everyone will have a good time with it. It's, it's got a bit of something for everyone, some nice action, some nice animation, nice solid emotional core. Trigun fans will enjoy seeing the Trigun guys again, but if you don't know who they are, it sets them up nicely and gives you just enough you need without having to give you like a credit scroll explaining who they are. Just really nicely composed. I wish it got more attention when it came out because I think it's an example of how to do a spin-off anime film in a way that just works. And I admire it took some brave swings and landed basically all of them.
Mhm.
I love Trigun, obviously. Trigun is a franchise that has a really, really special place in my heart for a myriad of reasons. And one of them, as a little surprise, this was the last movie that I watched before my fiance passed away. The two of us watched together. And this is the first time I've watched it since, and I still love it, and I have a new appreciation for it because I get to share it with you two and share it with our lovely audience. And yeah, Vash always stood out as a beacon of hope in a very despairing world, and this movie captures a lot of that. So I love this movie. I think everybody should watch it. I think even if you're not an anime fan, if you like cowboys, you'll like it. If you like sci-fi, you'll like it. It's got a little something for everybody. But that does mean it is time for us to pull into our final destination. That is right. It is time to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you once again for talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. Bang.